That's a screaming salmon. Beautiful, healthy, thick fish. Man, he's beelining it. Look at this. Big Chinook. Looks like a beautiful female. Man, he socked that bait. Do you get the picture? A lot of fish. A lot of fish, okay?
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha Outboards, reliability starts here. Dickies, guaranteed workwear since 1922. Lucky Strike, all you need is a Lucky Strike.
Welcome to Sunsludge. Give a little cheer and welcome to Sunsludge. Hey, Canadian sports fishing. Hey, what do you say? Yeah. Welcome to Sunsludge today. Hey, hey, hey.
Look how beautiful the scenery is. You know, last week we were fishing on the east coast in Newfoundland, and this week we're here in beautiful British Columbia. We're on Malcolm Island, which is not too far from Port Hardy at the north end of Vancouver Island. And we're just out here. This is our first afternoon. We're trying to see if we can hook up a couple of fish before dinner. So we're going to be fishing for about 3 hours. And Barb's got the first one. Oh, nice head shakes. I like it, Barb.
It is.
You're doing great, hon. When it wants to go, let him go, yeah. Okay. You're doing great, hon. A little bit higher. Now you can walk back a little bit, Barb. Okay. And just walk backwards, Barb. Okay. And we'll just get him in, unhook him, and we'll probably release him. They've got so much energy.
Go.
Yeah, no problem. Do you have pliers or do you need pliers? Here, you can have mine. They're on a lanyard.
Oh, okay.
If you want, just so you don't hurt yourself. Hopefully you'll be able to reach because they're stuck to my belt.
So that's a small Chinook, and he actually is probably in the keeper range, but he's pretty small.
Can you hold him up a little bit just before you let him go?
Yeah, I'm going to try to really gently here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Got him?
Perfect.
Whew,
good release job. One of the rigs that are working really well right here is actually using a small anchovy with a cap so that it rotates through the water. So why don't we show them, Jeff? So there's the head. It's just a plastic cap.
Yeah.
You can see how bright these anchovies are. So I know that when the guides here pick their bait fish, they try to pick one that doesn't have blemishes, like scales missing off it, or any distortions, you know, or any chunks missing out of it. So that one looks pretty clean. I noticed that that cap has a wire going through it. Is that just to keep it on a little bit better or straighter?
That's to help me sort of control the bend in the fish.
Good.
And also once they troll around for a while, they kind of soften up, and they almost, you can almost say they go bad, and sometimes you have to change them. But this way, it sort of makes them last a little longer, right? You can get a little more life out of them, and you can control the action. You get on it better.
Now, how far back do you put the treble hook in?
Well, everybody does this a little differently. I found the best is a little behind the dorsal fin here, so I usually push it up, just so I can see it for reference.
Right in the middle?
And I'll go right about right in the side, about halfway down. I'll go in there, and just sort of along like that. And again, this is something that's very specific to the angler, but that's what I found best for me.
Good. Now, what kind of action do you look for? A fast roll or just a gentle roll? Once you get it actually rigged up. We're going to see it, I'm sure, when you start working
sort of a medium speed. I mean, I couldn't exactly give you like a rotation per second, but something that feels right. It's mostly the form that it rolls with. So you don't want it to, like, the last thing you want is something that looks like a helicopter. You don't want it to be
spinning too
like
fast.
The tail out. You don't want the tail out. You want the tail to be nice and tight in there. And
so like a wounded bait fish. Is it rolling like you like it?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you can see a nice splash and roll in the water. Perfect.
That's a nice tight roll. You know, the rotation is tight and the tail is in. I'm running that for sure.
Okay, how deep are we going to be running it?
Deeper than usual. Recently, we've been getting them down like 120, 130 feet, which is quite a bit deeper than usual. Yeah, it's for some areas that would be typical. For here, though, that's quite deep. We're usually fishing closer to anywhere from like 20 to 80 or 90 feet. But you know, if that's where they are, then that's where we'll fish it, right?
Sure. This is so nice. Look at how beautiful the weather is here in British Columbia. You know, we've been spending the last couple of days just enjoying the beautiful coast. As you can see from all around us, there are lots of boats trolling for salmon. So earlier we took a little break and we went for some bottom fish. Now we're back up for salmon again. And we're trolling in about 200 and so feet of water and trolling pretty deep with downriggers. Down about anywhere from 70 to about 130 feet. And that fish is running.
That's a nice fish.
This is awesome. Good run.
It's almost like he doesn't want to come up, Italo.
Jeff, he's running a lot of line out. Good sized fish. So what we're using is a center pin reel and a very long mooching rod. So the center pin is literally a 1-to-1 gear ratio. So that fish went 180 degrees away from the boat, and then he made a U-turn, came to the surface, and now he's beelining it back. He's right here. He's riding right towards us. And Jeff's doing a great job working all the downriggers and making sure the other lines are out of the way. So I'm being very careful here. You can see that I've got the butt of the rod in my chest, and I have my left hand right here on the cork grip. So a lot of these rods have extended cork handles just for that. And they're long. That's to have a lot of leverage when you're fighting the fish, and also when you have them cranked down on the downrigger, so you have a nice arch on them. But what I really like is these reels, the center pin reels. So this particular one is made by Rapala. I'm going to loosen up that drag just a bit. And it's called a mooching reel. Even though we're not mooching here, we're using downriggers. The traditional mooching technique is to use live herring and to use a weight on your line and to use pulls. They're literally the length of a man's arm, so it's about 3 feet, 4 feet, to know how deep you're fishing. So you pull your line off the rod, sometimes it's 10 pulls, sometimes 30 pulls, and you literally hold that live herring and let it swim around close to current breaks. But because here, fishing out of Sun's Lodge, the fish cover a large area. We have to use the downriggers to find them. So Jeff's got the net out already. Yep. So in a minute I'm going to step back to make sure that Jeff can get the net on this fish. Should be a good sized fish. He's probably going to start walloping. Nice king.
Okay.
He's probably going to run, Jeff, so we got to just be patient. I'm going to try to guide him. Looks like a beautiful female. I'm sure you see lots of beautiful Chinooks. Good job.
That's one of them.
That's beautiful. Beautiful fish. Gonna let off a little bit on the line.
Okay, I'll pull him in here.
Yep. Man, he socked that bait. So I'm gonna just put my glove on. I'm gonna put the rod back in the rod holder.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the people that are fishing here, are looking for gorgeous fish like this because they're prized not just for their fighting qualities and being trophies, but also for their eating quality. Oh, he took it.
Yeah,
man, that fish wanted it.
I'll get those hooks out.
Yeah, if you get the hooks out, hopefully it won't bleed too much, and I'm going to go to the back. Now, you said that the smaller Chinooks have to be released.
The smaller ones to do, yes.
We release Barb's fish because the limit is the fish has to be 24.5 inches or bigger, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, that's about it. It's in centimeters, but that's what it works out to.
How big do you figure this fish is?
Oh, lengthwise, I'm not sure because we don't even measure him that big. It's like he's in around 20, nice 20-pounder.
This is what it's about here in beautiful British Columbia. We're staying at Sun's Lodge on Malcolm Island. You fly from Toronto, if you're coming from Toronto, Vancouver, Port Hardy to Port McNeill, and then a water taxi over to the lodge. Beautiful, healthy, thick fish. And this one will probably be a barbecue fish. What a great fight. Boy, he sizzled maybe 50, 60 yards of line out all at once.
Yeah, he took a good run. He was screaming, that's for sure.
Dickey's Sport Fishing Sweepstakes.
Me and my family bought a cabin at Tobin Lake, and there's a tournament they have every year. On the first day of the tournament, we came in with a pretty good weight, and then on the second day, we didn't have very good weight until the last hour. I went to look for my bobber and I couldn't find it, so I went to my rod and I tightened my line. As soon as I set the hook, it dove at least 10 feet, Took me about 10 minutes to get it in. After that, we put it in the live well, and we drove off to the weigh. And when they told me it was 11.4 pounds, I was like so excited that I had a really good chance of getting the big fish of the day.
We'd love to hear your fishing story. Go to our website and enter the Dickey's Sport Fishing Sweepstakes. It's free, and you could win some great prizes.